What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Blackout on BlackTideTV. Around a month ago, I made a very long, very detailed video with a number of game modes I'd like to see Treyarch implement into Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Blackout. That video will be linked in the description down below in case you missed that one. But that video had a number of game modes, a number of limited time modes, I should say, that would make the game a little different, a little more exciting every time that you sign in to play Blackout. Blackout at that point was getting a little stale, doing the same solos, duos, quads, and the same 2 or 3 limited time modes that have only appeared thus far, but they've done a pretty good job since that video of implementing new game modes, like the Hot Pursuit mode that came out at the beginning of Operation Grand Heist. It is now a featured mode. I think it's staying in the game for the rest of the game because so many people are a huge fan of that mode, myself included. I've been having a lot of fun with Hot Pursuit, but it wasn't until last week that I thought my prayers had finally been answered and they've added in Hardcore Blackout. Now, Hardcore Blackout just became available this week to PC and Xbox players, but us PS4 players have been playing for about a week, and it didn't take very long for me to play and realize that this is not the Hardcore Blackout that I was anticipating, the Hardcore Blackout that I talked about in my limited time mode video. Instead, this is a very different kind of mode, similar in some aspects, but not exactly hardcore in the way that we know hardcore from the Call of Duty franchise. If I were to mention a hardcore game mode, most Call of Duty veterans would come to the conclusion that that mode does not have a heads-up display or has a very limited heads-up display, and it also has vastly reduced health. Most Call of Duty games have a hardcore mode with 28 to 30 health, whereas in core modes, by comparison, you would have 100, or where Black Ops 4 is concerned, 150 health. That is not the case where it comes to Hardcore Blackout. Instead, Hardcore Blackout has no health or damage modifiers whatsoever. You still have 150 total health. All of the weapons still deal the exact same amount of damage that they ever have. The only difference here is that you cannot get any armor. Armor is not available in the world. Level 1, Level 2, Level 3, that would further mitigate your damage that you take. That's gone. You don't have to worry about armor anymore, which is pretty nice. And they've also limited the healing items that are available to you to reds only, whereas in most hardcore modes in the past, you've never been able to heal yourself at all. But here you still have your red heals that will heal 50 health at a pop, whereas normally you would have white heals that do 25 and trauma kits. Whites and traumas, you cannot get those in Hardcore Blackout. Only reds are available, and it seems like there are a ton of them. Like there are more red heals than ever before. You find dozens and dozens and dozens of them, which kind of defeats the idea of hardcore where you normally have less health and you can't heal. As I previously mentioned, hardcore modes don't only affect your health. There are a few other noticeable differences, such as no heads-up display. That includes your quick select menu, your map, and your compass. You cannot access those. You cannot use those to give your teammates callouts as to where people are shooting at you from. You'll actually have to physically explain a location, and you'll have to be on the ball and working with your team at all times. I also suggest that you learn your directions for Blackout. So north is estates, south is towards the lighthouse and the factory. If you're somewhere in the middle of the map, you can kind of get an idea of where north, south, east, and west are. You can also look at the sun right now because with the setting sun thing, it's kind of setting in the southwest. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's just how Treyarch coded the sun to be setting in this particular map update. So with the spring update, you know where the sun is setting, that's southwest, and you can kind of give yourself an idea of where directions are from there. But unfortunately, you cannot open up your main map, which is always something you could do in hardcore modes in multiplayer. You can actually open up the map and see where people are on that main map, or at least just see the layout of the map itself. You can't actually access your map at all in Hardcore Blackout, which I think is a big problem with this mode. Most people are dying to the storm in this mode. Most people don't know where they need to be going. There is a new method to figuring out where the storm is coming because you cannot access your maps. Instead, there are 3 helicopters that fly over the map periodically. They'll drop flares or fireworks, and that marks the exact center of the next circle, and you'll have to head your way over to those areas. But even then, it gives you a very rough idea. Someone is always have to be looking out for those helicopters, and 9 times out of 10 in this mode, you're going to die in the storm because the storm comes in, it hits you, that blue does a lot of damage. You don't really know how far you have to go in that blue, and by the time you get out of that blue, if you make it, you're going to use all of your healing items and then you're just going to die in the next conflict. So the storm and not being able to know where that storm is coming from is a massive problem in hardcore Blackout. I think you should be able to open up the main map because it forces you to stand still if you're opening up the main map to kind of locate and mark for your team and to figure out what the storm is. It should show you all of the data that it does in core modes, but no minimap. I understand no minimap, but you should be able to access the main map itself. As if to add insult to injury, if you do get stuck in the storm, there are no vehicles. They've taken vehicles out of hardcore Blackout, which I'm not opposed to because I'm not the biggest fan of vehicles in Blackout in the first place, but that's something to keep in mind as well. Now on to the biggest issue with hardcore Blackout, at least on consoles, and that is that there is no quick select menu. Yes, it's part of the heads up display, and yes, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have in a hardcore mode. But no quick select menu on console means players are stuck in their menus for an extended period of time, and it takes the fun out of the mode to be going into your menu to activate perks, going into your menu to switch your grenades. It makes equipment borderline unusable because every single time you have to use your equipment, you'll have to go into your menu and change which equipment you have. The amount of times I've tried to grapple and instead thrown a cluster grenade because somehow the inventory reorganized when I was picking up equipment and now I'm using something else that I didn't mean to use, and then you're throwing your equipment all over the place and it just makes a mess of the entire mode. On PC it's fine because most PC players go into their main menu to do anything anyways because they can do it so quickly. But on console that's just not user friendly. That's why they have the quick select menu. And so I think if they're going to fix hardcore Blackout, they need to at least have the quick select menu or just show you what equipment you have coming up. Or at the very least, they could just remove all of the equipment. I wouldn't be opposed to them taking every single piece of equipment out and making it truly hardcore and only weapons are available. Weapons and attachments, but equipment is just so borderline unusable with the current menu system without a quick select that it makes me not want to use equipment at all. Or maybe just put in one type of equipment, only frag grenades. Hardcore mode with only frag grenades. It's the only equipment you can pick up. Just like how there's only one type of heal. If there was only one type of grenade, it would work a lot better. Those are some of the issues I have with hardcore Blackout. And last but not least, of course, if you wanted to make it real hardcore Blackout, reduce the health to 30 and take the healing items out altogether. You have one life, one shot. You get hit once, you die. I think that would be the ideal hardcore Blackout. That's the hardcore Blackout I was expecting, a hardcore mode in Blackout. I do like the no HUD, I do like the everything else, but no quick select menu is a problem. No being able to access your map is a problem. Figure out the equipment situation, figure out the health situation, and this mode will be a lot better. Maybe if they have a hardcore Blackout 2.0, they can work out the kinks. But that is my opinion on hardcore Blackout. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you did. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.